Hey, what's up, guys? Back with a couple other games here today. Back from my 6-day hiatus. Just finally have some time to sit down and make a video. So today it's going to be more featured on the Tusk, one of the contracts you can go for right now. Probably not the contract I'd recommend in terms of getting a tank that's very competitive for actually carrying games most of the time. But it is probably one of the more fun ones you could get, just because, well, it's got a derp gun. It's got the T-49's derp gun. I mean, what more can you? You're gonna have some pretty hilarious times in this, like I have, including in this game, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's a tank I like a lot, but again, I realize its shortcomings. Like I said, I still rank it probably as the second worst tier 10 light. It doesn't mean, and that's just in the terms of being competitive, like damage, stuff like that. I'd rank stuff like, the Sheridan 13105, T100, and the Panzerwagen above it. The only thing I'd really consider very much less competitive even than this is the WZ, the tier 10 Chinese light. That's just because this thing has the potential to pen for like over 1,000 damage potentially, versus the WZ that still only hits for 390 and has a 10-second plus reload all kitted out. This only has a slightly over 15-second reload. And generally you do between 300 to 400 damage, and occasionally you will pen and do upwards of 900 to 1,000 in that area. So I honestly, this tank is better in that aspect. But again, I still like it just because it's the fun factor. Not every tank has to be like, the Sheridan or an Object 140 or something like that. It can just be for fun, in all honesty. But again, it's not all negative. This thing's got pretty decent view range, and I quite enjoy it. Like I said, I don't think it's worth the grind that it is. They did reduce it by like 200,000 XP or so, something like that, to get it. But overall, I like the tank. And you see here, we're just using kind of a secondary location. I don't want to use the rock. That's where I generally go, either there or that first position I was usually that I was at in this game. I use one of either that position, or I use the rock that's right ahead of me at the moment, right below my crosshairs of the second. There was a tortoise there. I don't know where he went. He disappeared. But yeah, I'll use that position also, and that's the only reason I don't always use it is because that position has a tendency to draw attention from the enemies, and they'll like to poke and sometimes just YOLO up and just charge you, and they may lose all their health, but hey, they'll shoot you once or twice or something like that. So I don't always like doing the super aggressive move there. You see I'm doing it here because I realized that the IS-7 is now one shot, and I'm not too scared about him just coming up and wrecking me in a degree, so I'm more confident taking this position now. And now I can actually see. I'm looking at the mini map, and I'm like, is he really gonna come up and try to do this? Yes, he is. I don't know what that plan was. It wasn't very good. Pro tip: if you're on 200 health and you're spotted, you probably shouldn't poke when a derp gun tank with HE is looking right at you. Just a general pretty good tip. And you see, we focus. We could have got more damage, but instead we decided to focus and take out the tank on lower health, get him out of the game, and get the platoon mate out of the game as well. And I do like to focus some platoons, especially no top tier tanks. If I can just get rid of that coordination, it's a pretty big factor. It helps me because I don't have to worry about two of the enemies coordinating. Instead, I can just worry about independent single players, I guess I should say, rather than having to worry about the other team trying to work together and using different avenues of approach and stuff like that. So instead, I can kind of just apply a different type of mindset, and it's more predictable for me, in the very least, I guess. It just makes the game easier to predict, I think. But now we're gonna do something, you know, just discussing. This is where I talk about the fun. We don't need to aim. Aiming lowers DPM. See, I didn't aim there. I got 1,500 damage in less than like 10 seconds. Proof. It's definitely not. It's all proof right there. Aiming lowers DPM, especially no. But yeah. So what I'm really worried about here is I see the Kron coming up, and I know that light tank. I've recognized him now. I've seen him on the leaderboards now. He's one of the better players in the game on, I know, EU. So I know he's probably not going to poke out and give me a shot. He knows I'm there. Like, I know he's there. So I'm going to reposition, fall back. Like I said, I know the Kron was kind of pushing down the like the middle road there. So I don't really want to. He could clip me out in one, in one engagement. So I don't really want to fight him in a one-on-one yet. So instead, pull back to this very strong position. That's one thing on this map. This position is pretty strong for your team. Just the avenues approach of it. You've got the ability to shoot down on them as they pull up most of the time for these type of end game kind of scenarios that happen. It doesn't mean I recommend like camping it in the beginning at all, but for these types of situations, not a bad idea. Now you see me kind of just getting an idea, and little bold move.
They found us.
But I figure this guy's probably alone. I kind of figure he's a somewhat decent player. Just guessing 50. Most people don't play at 50B. There's not a lot of them. So when I do see them, I generally do try to think that probably have a decent mindset involving the game. So I go up behind him and take a huge chunk of his health off, because I know, or I don't know, but I have a pretty good guess that their light tank isn't up there as well. And I'm trying not to get shot by him. Luckily, he only eats the tracks, and we take another shot. Not the best case scenario. Could have died there very easily, but it is what it is. But we're actually not going to fall back here, because one, if we try to move around behind them, their light tank's going to come get me. I'm an easy one shot right now. So rather just stay here with some teammates, kind of make a crossfire on these guys. As they try to push up here, it's not going to work well for them. And just try to put side shots as they try to push up, like this Death Star is. And just use how they're funneling themselves up into this situation. It's not good for them. And I'm pretty positive I'm in an already safe position right now. Unless he's relocated. So it's just kind of a good idea right now to not fall back and try to flank these guys. Usually you may see me do that. Like fall back and go all the way around to their base where the Tusk was in the initial part of the game, but I'm not doing that because their Tusk is on full health, and at this point I didn't see him spotted for a while, and I figured, hey, he's probably coming up trying to flank, because that's exactly what I would probably try to do. So instead, spot him up before he gets that opportunity, and have our 5120 come down, and we're going to take him off the board, hopefully. Nice. So just a good map awareness, good idea of what another good player is going to do. Kind of reading their mind, reading your own mind, at least in my case. It's just a really good scenario right there. We read what he was going to do, and we really take him out, basically. So that's pretty key for us. I think that's going to pretty much secure the win for us, especially. With that shot on the Death Star taking a good amount of his health off. I actually think that's the only more damage we're going to do this game. I could be wrong. I can't remember. It's been a few weeks. But still, at this point, we're just shy of 9,000 combined. So fantastic game for this map. I never like I said, doing just shy of 4,000 assisted on this map is pretty unbelievable. Actually, that's a pretty damn good result. I don't really see South Coast as like, wow, I'm going to go to a whole bunch of assists. No. The only way that usually happens is, so what happens this game happens, and somebody sits up on the ridge line like that, and you just, yeah. So, we're going to try here to get one more shot. But that's not going to happen because our Death Star is on a mission from hell to take that guy out, basically. Who needs to stop and aim, you know? Like I said, it lowers DPM. Now we're just going to take cover behind Lighthouse. Or not Lighthouse, there's just a house. And for some reason, you know, our Death Star, for some reason, has lack of brain cells and likes to just push players up against the house. I don't know. Maybe I wronged him in some way. Or he's just, I don't know. But we're going to aim in on this guy, and unfortunately, I think we take this shot blind, just guessing he would not move. It does not connect, so I don't think we get the kill on this guy. Again, I could be wrong. Just rewatching this like you all are. I think the 5120 is able to take him out.
We've been detected.
Yeah, we just whiff our RBRT shot. Not surprising. And 5120 takes him down. So, again, it's a good game. Some good just awareness, some good luck also. AKA bye-bye Conqueror for 1500 health. But a very fun game to play. That's for sure. Really wasn't expecting this kind of a game. Like I said, I have fun when I play this thing. I really do. So yeah, just overall a fun game. I'm going to have another game coming up on Proc, which is a more light tank friendly map. And you can see that I think 50B had a pretty good game. He had above 5,000 damage. So again, I say it was a pretty good move to kind of target him. He was kind of isolated, or at least we made that prediction that he was isolated, just based on where the light was. So just good mindset. And good targeting of when they make a move, basically. So, like I said, we're on Proc. It's one of the best light tank maps in the game, basically, in my opinion. I think everybody's opinion. I mean, you can look at it and just go, hey, look, big sight line, view range, mobility. Yeah, I mean, it's the map for light tanks almost. Only when I say I'd rate higher, it's Mount Ofka. And that's just because there's better lines of sight, I would say, or better opportunities to flank. I would put it that way. There's more opportunity to do damage in a light, I think, depending on how the map plays out. Proc, though, is definitely the map, I would say, minus like the storm variants of other things, but like it's the map for spotting, just based off the long sight lines that are available, and the way that most of the time that's how one team either cans or something like that. Lots of heavies. But you see we're doing my normal kind of spotting run from the spawn. Go up the middle, make a hard left, and then spot running down the town here. But don't go all the way down the town, because if you just go down the middle road, you can get shot. I've had that happen before, lessons learned. So I'll go like maybe a fourth or maybe a halfway through the town and then cut over again so I don't get shot. And then kind of arrive at this position where I can kind of hopefully spot something crossing some of the slower heavies under the railroad bridge. And you see here something about aiming. If I shoot him in the 430 damage to a heavily armored tier 9 German heavy. So right there with the derp gun, instead of shooting anywheres and maybe doing like 200 damage or so, I actually aim for underneath his tank. And again, he's giving me that shot, 330 damage. It didn't go quite underneath. It kind of hit his tracks there, I think. But if you're getting in these derp gun tanks and you can't pen them, and you're looking for the best way to do the most damage to them, generally shooting underneath like this will do a fair amount of damage. I mean, yeah, almost 400. And we've done just shy of 1,200 damage to this guy. So just kind of a fun little tip there. At least I think it applies to most tanks. But Unfortunately here, we're going to get a little too greedy. We've been picking this guy away, and then we finally get just kind of punished for it. I don't know if he actually spotted me, or if it was the light tank passing by the railroad cars. But now we just have to kind of run away, because we have no support over here for the most part. So we're going to fall back from that position. We see on the map that our closest friendlies are either on the other side of the railroad tracks, or they're back by the entrance underneath the railroad track, the bridge underneath. So we're not going to fall back quite yet. We're going to try to get one more shot, and it does connect to the 75. Probably for only for about 200-300 damage, but still good damage. Damage is pretty good damage. I don't know what that means. We're just gonna ignore that. But now I could stay in spot there, but now that I know a lot of them are pushed up on that hill, it's going to be hard for them to even push our TDs, and we still have another light tank over there. So instead of wasting the vision over there, I'm going to actually push this side. Now I see that we kind of have the advantage over here, and that we took the bowl, which is a pretty key position. And we have our TD pushing down the road. So I'm going to try to take a couple pot shots at these heavies, and then hopefully do some spotting. Because it really only looks like there's heavies back there. My really main target would be that T100 LT, just for vision purposes. I'm always trying to take out the enemy team's lights if I'm in a light tank, because then I can control vision and really just control everything in the engagement. And here I noticed 1315 actually went in on the Conqueror, who's their frontline tank basically. So just a critique right here. I could have got in way closer here before trying to take that shot. I think he had just shot, so. But the second time, it connects. So, again, I don't know if I recommend doing that, especially the first shot. The second shot, you kind of had to, without you getting hit back. But that first shot, I'd probably recommend getting in a lot closer, if you can, in a situation like that. It looked like I could have. It can just get you in trouble trying to take those crazy shots. And here's kind of another crazy moment. Like, here's one of those crazy moments where I'm like, why did I do this? But here I can look back on it and go, okay, that actually does make sense. Right here, there's only 2 tier 10 heavies, and I see the C-15B and the IS-4. I think that's it. That's all that's right here. So I'm going to go in on 2 tier 10 heavies, but I'm going to target the one I can actually pen, the 215B, and shoot him right in the butt for 960 damage, and then do the U-turn with the handbrake and get out of here. Do another, well, maybe not. Do a couple more handbrake turns, make sure I get away from this guy's gun just so he doesn't, I don't think he's focusing me, which is a nice change of pace. And then I'm going to aim hopefully for his track, like there with the HE round, and track him. I know I can't pen him, and get all that nice assisted damage. So that's really key. If you're pretty sure you can't pen him, which I'm pretty positive I'm not going to pen an IS-4, even with, there's some situations you could with like Prime HE, but you have to get a pretty high pen roll, I think, usually. You could load heat, but I really wouldn't recommend it. That kind of tank, I just want to get the damage and tracking assist. So I know we're done over there, we're mopped up, and now I'm just going to try to go for all the assists that I can. I see the E5, just take an on-the-move pot shot at him, just because this game's wrapping up, so might as well just try some kind of joke shots. So now I'm just going to use this ridge line and just spot them all up, hopefully get all this assisted. And if one of them wants to come over, that's fine, I'm okay with that. They're going to get hopefully just demolished by my team. And we're just going to play the annoying little poke the turret over just a little bit and get all the assisted. So get this, transitioning from one side of the map to the other, making plays, and just making the right plays in the right situation. And now I'm just watching them to see where their tension is, who's fired. I see the Centurion just fired, so I'm actually going to poke and then plot one in the Conqueror. in the rear. T100 doesn't like that, I guess, and we've attracted the attention. So we're just going to do some zigzag turns, make it a lot harder for him to hit us on the move, hopefully. That thing has pretty good shell velocity and such. It's pretty good RT, but to ignore his shot, I'm actually not going to kill him because I know the Sen is on more health, and I'm going to try to pen him. But unfortunately, that's not going to quite work out. But, you know, we got to finish it in style. And with 68 hit points, our shell doesn't even hit him, but we land on top of him, and, you know, we finish on top. Literally. So, said fun game. Pretty classic proc plays, I think, for how I end up playing lights on the map for these type of games. So, hopefully you enjoyed this all. Hopefully we'll be back for a regular kind of streaming next week and this weekend and the following weekend. Pretty consistent uploads. So hopefully you enjoy that because the following couple weeks I will be away. So until next time, I will see you. Peace out.